let me say that the judgment of the Supreme Court, though binding, continues to elicit reactions, not just from political actors, including those who have been vindicated by the judgment and those who have been condemned by the judgment, but even in the legal community in Nigeria and in the society at large. My view, and this is not a recent view, is that we should be able to march confidently on our democratic journey towards an ideal point when we will not have to rely on judicial interventions to resolve electoral disputes. In other words, judicial intervention will be an exception to the norm and not the norm. Right now, it's become the norm. That's the number one problem that I have. Number two problem, which is even more fundamental, is that given the adversarial nature of all litigations, particularly civil litigation, one party will win and one party will lose. The possibility is that once you have an election petition, the party that has been declared the winner by INEC might not emerge as the person who has won the election. It then appears, therefore, that the judiciary is forever portrayed if it decides against the person who has been declared to win the election by INEC as a body that is subverting the electoral will, of the electorate. And so now we now have people suggesting that the judiciary is now electing governors in the place of electors, in the place of the electorate. So my concern, and the concern of many Nigerians, is that our courts, particularly the Apex Court, is being portrayed as a body that would not take into cognizance, particularly the philosophical dimension, not just the legal dimension, the philosophical dimension of the electoral process, where what is important and what is uppermost is how to discover the electoral will of the electorates, and not just how to award electoral victory to partisans, contestants, by default, based on technical justice. So I am concerned about that. And I will want to see a situation in which our electoral system will be sorted out, will be thoroughly reformed in such a way that election will be free and fair and not violent, making recourse to post-election petition and even pre-election wranglings arising from primary, talking about internal party democracy now, making recourse to this not necessary anymore, so that our courts will be free from these allegations and accusations of partisanship. But there's a third point, which in years to come will continue to form the subject of review of cases, case review by lawyers and those who know about these issues. Law and legal practice. Not only that, adjudication of cases and judicial determination thrive on the principle of stare decisis, meaning the decision of a higher court binding a lower court on the same subject, and precedents. In these cases, have we seen a thread, a logical thread, a consistent thread running through all these cases in a way that is very consistent? My fear is that we've not seen it, which is why people are very worried And I can throw up two examples for you. In Kogi State, when Audu passed in the middle of an election, the APC leadership then brought Yahaya Bello, and Faleke demurred. He disagreed. They sought to merge the two of them together by submitting the name of Faleke as his deputy. Faleke refused and he didn't submit his documents. So that was how the election was conducted. When the matter got to the Supreme Court held that the Kogi State House of Assembly should elect the deputy to Yahaya Bello, which was what eventually happened. Therefore, people are wondering, now that we had the case of Bayelsa, why didn't the Supreme Court hold on that occasion that Yahaya Bello was not properly elected? Because he had no deputy. Not just about a deputy not having a valid nomination. He had no deputy. And so when the Bayelsa thing broke, people are wondering, okay, in criminal law jurisprudence generally, you only punish the person who has committed an offense. If the allegation here is forgery, and you're talking about a pre-election matter, which is a civil action, that allegation will have to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. The question was, in that judgment, was the allegation of forgery proved beyond reasonable doubt? And if it was so proved, could you, since we're talking about a criminal allegation now, use that criminal allegation against one person, against the other person that had no criminal allegation against him, when you've not demonstrated that they are co-conspirators? I mean, these are issues that will continue to agitate the minds of legal scholars and lawyers and activists on the quality of the reasoning in these judgments and a logical thread that runs through that. In Imo State, people were wondering, how could it be possible for somebody who came forth to be declared the governor? But that's the wisdom of the Supreme Court in Zamfara State. Over 500,000 votes were wasted. And then, somebody who didn't even know that was good became the beneficiary. So the question is, can't there be ways in our laws and in our judicial determination of these cases to ensure that the right thing is done without shortchanging the electorate? Because we must worry about the quality of our democracy. I get agitated when, with a stroke of judicial pen, it is possible to just say 500,000 votes are wasted. It's like you are wasting, it's like, literally speaking, it's like you are using a judicial pen to commit mass murder. The manner of speaking, 500,000 votes are wasted. So I think that the lesson from all this is that we shouldn't continue to have this kind of audits. And for politicians, which is the fourth point I want to make, politicians must learn their lesson. Integrity matters. Decency matters. Diligence, due diligence matters. You inviting people to come and preside over the affairs of the state, to come and look at budgets. They must be punctilious people. They must be detailed. They must be people who are eagle-eyed. They must have eye for details. And so you then bring such people, and then somebody is bearing, 4 or 5 names. And there must be questions in terms of verification of this material. So when they talk about we are screening, the question is, what are you screening?